Have you ever wondered why some people with average salaries end up financially free, while others earning lakhs or even crores live paycheck to paycheck? Why does someone with no fancy degree or deep investment knowledge quietly build wealth over time, while a so-called financial genius makes one mistake that wipes it all out? It's not about spreadsheets. It's not about stock tips. It's about psychology. Welcome to the real world of money, the emotional, unpredictable, deeply personal world, where how you behave matters more than what you know. Hi, and welcome to this deep, thoughtful, and truly life-changing journey through the psychology of money by Housel. This isn't your typical finance book. This is not about how to beat the stock market or get rich overnight. This book is a mirror, one that shows you how your beliefs, habits, and fears around money can either build your future or quietly destroy it. So whether you're a college student starting from scratch, a working professional trying to save smarter, or someone chasing true freedom in life, stay with me. Don't skip this part, because somewhere in the next 25 minutes, you might just hear the one insight that will shift your financial life forever. Let's begin. Now that we've set the stage, let's begin with one of the most important and surprisingly comforting ideas in the psychology of money. No one's crazy. Seriously, that's how Housel opens the book. And it's a powerful truth, because the way we think about money, it isn't always logical. It's emotional. It's personal. It's shaped by where we've been, what we've seen, and even what we fear. Remember how we just talked about how this book isn't about intelligence, it's about behavior? Well, this is the perfect example. Housel explains that every person has a money lens, a unique set of beliefs formed by their life experiences. So what feels like a bad decision to you might be a completely rational choice for someone else. Let me give you a real-world example. Take Rohit Sharma, no, not the cricketer, just a 29-year-old marketing guy from Delhi. Back in 2008, Rohit watched his parents lose a big chunk of their savings in a failed real estate deal. It shook their family. Ever since, Rohit doesn't trust risky investments. He keeps all his money in fixed deposits and savings accounts. Sure, the returns are low, but for him it feels safe. Now someone else might say, that's crazy. You're missing out on so much growth. But here's the truth. It's not crazy if it makes sense to you based on your experiences. And that's exactly Housel's point. If you grew up during a booming stock market, you might think investing is easy. If you grew up during a crash, you might think it's dangerous. Neither person is wrong. They're just responding to what life taught them. So before you judge someone for how they spend, save, or invest, pause. Be kind. Be understanding. Because money decisions aren't made on calculators. They are made in our hearts, shaped by memory, emotion, and fear. Key takeaway? Everyone's trying their best, including you. The real growth begins when you stop judging others and start understanding yourself. Stick around, because coming up next, we'll talk about why making money and keeping money are two very different skills. And if you miss this next part, you might miss one of the most eye-opening lessons of the entire book. Ready? Let's keep going. Now that we understand everyone's money behavior is rooted in personal experience, let's talk about two invisible forces that shape every financial story and often get completely overlooked. Luck and risk. Housel puts it beautifully. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. We love stories about self-made millionaires. We glorify hustle. But the truth is, success is never just hard work. And failure is never just stupidity. There's always a mix of effort, timing, circumstance, and yes, a bit of luck. Take Bill Gates, for example. He became the richest man on the planet. Brilliant mind. Incredible drive, right? Absolutely. But here's something most people forget. Bill Gates was one of the very few teenagers in the world who had access to a computer in the 1970s. That opportunity, that stroke of luck, changed everything. It doesn't take away his genius, but it's part of the story. Now let's talk about Kent Evans, Gates' childhood friend. Just as smart, just as ambitious, but Kent died in a mountaineering accident before he could do anything big. That's not lack of skill, that's risk. So here's a hard truth. Results are not always proof of effort or intelligence. Sometimes, people win because they were in the right place at the right time. And sometimes, they lose because life threw something at them they couldn't control. Think about how often we do this. We judge someone as lazy because they're broke, or we idolize someone because they're rich. But we rarely ask, what was their starting point? What risks did they face that we didn't see? If you stop now, you'll miss one of the most humbling and freeing lessons of the book. We should never attach someone's entire worth to their outcomes. Success doesn't always mean greatness. Failure doesn't always mean failure. And when you realize that, you stop judging, you stop comparing, and you start focusing on the only thing you can truly control, your behavior. Housel's advice? Be careful who you praise. Be careful who you criticize. Life is more random than we think, and understanding that makes us wiser, calmer, and more compassionate. Coming up next, why making good money decisions has little to do with spreadsheets and everything to do with mastering your emotions. You don't want to miss this. This next chapter could shift the way you think about patience, greed, and contentment forever. Let's keep going. This chapter hits deep, and honestly, it's one most of us need to hear, whether we're just starting out or already making good money. So here's the question Morgan Housel wants you to ask yourself. How much is enough? It sounds simple, but really think about it, because we live in a world that constantly whispers, more, bigger, faster, a better phone, a fancier car, a higher salary, a cooler title, more followers, more everything. But here's the twist, more is a moving target. And the moment you catch it, it moves again. Housel shares the story of Rajat Gupta, a man who had it all, from orphan to Harvard graduate, from nothing to becoming the CEO of McKinsey, one of the most prestigious consulting firms in the world. He had power, respect, and wealth. But it wasn't enough. Rajat got entangled in an insider trading scandal, all because he wanted even more. His desire for status, money, and recognition pushed him past the edge. And in chasing more, he lost everything. That story is powerful, not to judge, but to wake us up. Now contrast that with Warren Buffett, one of the richest people on earth. He still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958. He still eats McDonald's. He doesn't chase what he doesn't need because he knows when enough is enough. The point? Wealth is what you don't see. It's what you don't spend. It's having the power to walk away from a deal, say no to pressure, and live life on your terms. But here's the deeper truth. If you don't define your enough, someone else will. And that someone is usually society, social media, or your ego. So pause right now and reflect. Can you recognize the difference between ambition and greed? Are you working toward a life you truly want? Or are you just chasing the next milestone because it feels like you should? Because this right here could be the insight that saves you decades of stress, burnout, and endless comparison. Don't skip this reflection. Because without a clear idea of enough, no amount will ever feel satisfying. You'll always feel behind. You'll always be chasing ghosts. But with clarity, you get peace. You get purpose. You get control. Up next, why doing pretty good consistently beats trying to be perfect, and how financial success has more to do with your behavior than your brilliance. This next chapter has the power to relieve pressure, guilt, and overwhelm. Let's keep going. This one's a mindset shift, and once you get it, you'll never look at money the same way again. So let me ask you this. Would you rather look rich or be wealthy? Morgan Housel draws a clear line here, and it's one of the most eye-opening ideas in the psychology of money. Being rich is what people see. The luxury car, the designer outfit, the overseas vacation with the perfect Instagram shot. It's external, it's loud, it's impressive, but only on the surface. Being wealthy, on the other hand, is invisible. It's money in your savings account. It's investments that quietly grow. It's the freedom to walk away from a toxic job. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're secure, not just for today, but for years to come. Let's bring this closer to home. Remember Rohit Sharma, not the cricketer, the 29-year-old marketing guy from Delhi. His college friend Arav always seems to be living the dream. He's driving a new BMW, rocking the latest Apple Watch, flying business class, and constantly posting #travel goals on Instagram. People envy him. But what they don't know, Arav is drowning in credit card debt. He's maxed out his EMI payments, one unexpected layoff, and he's in serious trouble. Rohit, on the other hand, wears simple clothes, lives in a rented 1 BHK, avoids impulse buys, and invests 25% of his income. No flash, no flex, but his net worth is quietly growing every month. So who's really winning? Here's the punchline. Rich is what you see, wealth is what you don't. And the reason this matters so much, because in today's world of social media and endless comparison, we're constantly fed the illusion of wealth, but rarely shown the foundation behind it. That fancy car, it could be leased. That luxurious vacation could be on borrowed money. That influencer lifestyle, often fueled by anxiety and debt. And that's not to judge, it's to wake up. Housel reminds us, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. Real wealth is quiet. It's not about status. It's about freedom. The freedom to choose your own time. The freedom to take a risk. The freedom to say no. So if you ever feel tempted to keep up with someone else's version of rich, ask yourself, do I want their lifestyle or just their likes? Because here's the truth. The richest people are not always the wealthiest. And the wealthiest often go unnoticed. Don't try to look rich. Try to be wealthy. And remember, wealth is built in silence and spent in freedom. Up next, the most underrated but powerful tool in personal finance: saving. Not investing, not earning, saving. This next chapter might just shift how you view your income forever. Stick around. This is where real transformation happens. Let's get real for a second. What if I told you that the most powerful wealth building tool isn't your income? your investment strategy, or even your financial education. It's your ability to save. That's right. Morgan Housel drops this truth bomb. Building wealth has little to do with your income or investment returns, and lots to do with your savings rate. Think about that. You don't need to be earning in lakhs every month. You don't need to time the stock market. You don't need to chase every crypto boom or IPO. What you do need: discipline, humility, patience. Let's go back to our friend again, Rohit Sharma. Nope, still not the cricketer. He's earning 55,000 rupees a month. Not huge, right? But here's the thing. Rohit saves 12,000 rupees every month, automatically, religiously. Now compare that to someone like Arav, again making 2 lakh rupees a month but spending 1.95 lakh rupees trying to keep up appearances. Who's truly richer at the end of the year? That brings us to one of the most powerful lines in the entire book. Savings is the gap between your ego and your income. Boom. Sit with that for a second. Let's break it down. Do you need the latest iPhone, or just want to show that you have it? Is the car you drive for comfort or for attention? Are you upgrading your apartment because you need space, or because your friend just bought a 3 BHK? You see, saving isn't about sacrifice. It's not about living a miserable minimalist life. It's about freedom. Freedom from debt. Freedom to take risks. Freedom to invest in yourself. Freedom to walk away from jobs or situations that don't serve you. Saving gives you options, and options are priceless. Here's another way to think about it. A school teacher who consistently saves 30% of her salary for 30 years will likely have more financial security than a high-flying executive who spends every rupee he earns. Income can crash. Markets can dip. But a strong saving habit? That's your financial armor. Let me ask you something personal here. Can you be proud of not upgrading your phone this year? Can you find joy in wearing the same jeans instead of chasing trends? Can you feel strong, not embarrassed, driving a car that's fully paid off instead of flashy but financed? Because that is real strength. Morgan Housel says this beautifully. You can build wealth without a high income, but you have no chance without a high savings rate. So the next time someone brags about their income or their new toy, don't flinch. Smile quietly, because you know something they might not. Wealth isn't what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Up next, we talk about something that might be your biggest advantage, but also your biggest mistake: compounding. And why it's not just a math concept, it's a mindset. Don't skip this next chapter. It holds one of the most magical, yet misunderstood, powers in finance. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood ideas in personal finance. We're always told, be rational, make logical decisions, stick to the math. But Morgan Housel gives us permission to breathe a little. He says, you don't need to be coldly rational with your money. You just need to be reasonable. And that changes everything. Because let's be honest, we're not robots. We don't make every decision with a calculator in one hand and a spreadsheet in the other. We're human. We feel fear, excitement, doubt, joy. We have memories. We have dreams. Let me explain with an example. Meet Rhea. She's a 30-year-old graphic designer from Bengaluru. Now Rhea knows that the rational thing to do is to invest more in equities because, historically, they give higher returns over the long term. But every time the market crashes 10%, she panics. She loses sleep. She second-guesses everything. So what did she do? Instead of going 100% into stocks, she decided on a 60-40 split between equities and bonds. Her returns might be a little lower, but guess what? She sleeps peacefully. She doesn't panic sell. She sticks with her plan. And that's the real win. Because the best financial plan isn't the one that looks best on paper. It's the one you can actually stick with for years, decades, without burning out or giving up. Let's say it again. Reasonable beats rational. Because reasonable is sustainable. Morgan Housel even shares that he himself keeps a good chunk of his portfolio in cash. Not because it's the smartest move mathematically, but because it gives him a sense of security. It makes him feel calm and in control. And here's something powerful. Do not aim to be coldly rational when making financial decisions. Aim to be pretty reasonable, and you'll do just fine. So here's a question for you, and don't skip past it. Are you making financial choices that feel right for your life? Or are you trying to copy someone else's perfect plan that doesn't match your personality? Are you building wealth in a way that gives you peace? Or are you chasing returns while sacrificing your mental health? Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to win at money. The goal is to use money to build a life that feels good, not just looks good on Instagram or in Excel. Remember this. The most rational plan in the world is useless if it makes you miserable. Be reasonable. Be consistent. Be kind to yourself. Let's talk about what might just be the most underrated superpower in the universe, not just in finance, but in life. It's not hustle. It's not talent. It's not even luck. It's compounding. Yes, that quiet invisible force that turns small, repeated actions into massive results if you give it time. Morgan Housel calls compounding the single most powerful tool for building wealth. But here's the twist. Most people never see its full magic because they don't wait long enough. Let's talk about Warren Buffett. People always say he's a genius investor. And sure he is, but that's not why he's so wealthy. Here's the real reason. Warren Buffett started investing when he was 10 years old, and he's still investing well into his 90s. That's over 80 years of letting his money grow. More than 96% of his net worth came after his 60th birthday. Let that sink in. It's not about earning the highest returns. It's about earning pretty good returns for a really long time. That's compounding. The problem? We live in a world that celebrates speed, quick wins, viral moments. But compounding? It's slow, it's boring, it's silent. And that's what makes it so powerful. Think of it like this. A single drop of water doesn't seem like much, but a million drops over time? That's an ocean. A single rupee invested may not impress you today, but given 30 years, it can turn into thousands. A tiny habit like reading 5 pages a day might feel pointless, but after a year, you've read 10 to 15 books. Morgan Housel says this beautifully. Good investing isn't necessarily about making good decisions. It's about consistently not screwing up and letting compounding do the work. It's the same with everything, not just money. Knowledge compounds. Habits compound. Trust in relationships compounds. Even confidence compounds, one small win at a time. So here's your reflection, and don't skip this. It might be the question that changes your future. What are you compounding right now? Your habits, your thoughts, your spending. Are they growing into something beautiful, or are they silently pushing you in the wrong direction? Because every tiny decision you make, every rupee you save, every hour you invest in learning, they're all drops in the bucket. And the bucket is filling up whether you notice it or not. You don't need to do something massive tomorrow. You just need to start small and stay consistent. Because the truth is, compounding is not just a financial concept. It's a life philosophy. And if you've made it this far in the video, take a moment. You're not just curious, you're committed. You're planting seeds that your future self will thank you for. And trust me, those seeds will grow. Up next? Okay, if you're still with me, you're doing amazing. Now hold on, because this chapter can change the way you see success forever. It's about something called tail events. Now, what exactly are tail events? They're the rare, unpredictable moments in life and investing that have massive impact. They're not normal, they're not average, but they're responsible for the majority of results. Morgan Housel drops a mind-blowing fact. More than 80% of Warren Buffett's wealth came from just a few investments. Think about that. Out of the hundreds of decisions he made across decades, just a small handful, the tail events, made him one of the richest people alive. Let me say it again. It wasn't every investment. It was the few big ones that compounded over time and changed everything. Now let's bring this into your life. What if one job opportunity changes the entire trajectory of your career? What if one book you read shifts your mindset completely? What if one relationship, one decision, one idea unlocks everything? But here's the thing, and it's so important. Tail events don't work unless you stay in the game. They don't show up if you quit early. They don't happen if you blow up your finances chasing the next crypto moonshot. They don't reach you if you give up when things get slow or hard or boring. Success is often just a matter of surviving long enough for something big to happen. Morgan puts it like this. You have to take risks to get ahead, but you have to survive to keep playing. So what does that mean for you? It means don't go all in on one stock. Don't pour everything into one business idea and ignore the risks. Don't try to swing for the fences every single time. Build a base. Build something simple, strong, durable. Something that lets you ride the ups and downs and keeps you in the game. Because when those rare, beautiful, life-changing tail events come along, you want to be ready. You want to be present. You want to have survived long enough to say yes to them. Let's pause here for a second. Ask yourself this. Are you chasing short-term wins and missing the big picture? Or are you quietly, steadily building a life that can catch a tail event and ride it all the way? If you've ever felt like your efforts are small or your results aren't fast enough, this chapter is your reminder. Keep going, because your tail event might be just around the corner. And coming up next, we'll talk about why freedom, not money, is the ultimate goal and how to structure your life so that you're the one in control. This might be one of the most emotional and eye-opening chapters in the whole book. Don't skip it. Next, we'll talk about the kind of wealth that no amount of money can buy. Alright, we've talked about tail events, compounding, savings, and staying in the game. But now let's zoom out. Let's ask the real question. Why do we even want money in the first place? Is it to look successful? To retire early? To buy a house? A car? Travel the world? Sure, maybe. But Morgan Housel gives us the most honest, most liberating answer of all. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up and say, I can do whatever I want today. Read that again. The goal isn't money. It's not status. It's not even luxury. It's freedom. The freedom to control your time, the freedom to make choices, the freedom to say yes when it matters and no when it doesn't. Let me give you a moment to breathe that in. Imagine a life where you don't have to say yes to toxic work. You can choose to spend more time with your kids, your parents, your partner. You can rest when you're tired, not just when the calendar allows. That is wealth. And yet most of us never think about it this way. We chase promotions, grind for raises, build side hustles, all with one silent belief. If I just make more, everything will get better. But here's Housel's insight. Making more is useless if it comes at the cost of your freedom. Ask yourself this. Are your financial choices giving you more time, or are they costing you time? Are you spending to impress others or to buy back your freedom? Let's go back to our friend Rohit Sharma, the marketing guy, not the cricketer. He got a raise last year and immediately upgraded his car. Now he has higher EMIs, longer work hours, more stress. Sure, he looks richer, but inside, he feels trapped. Then there's his colleague Rhea, who didn't upgrade. She stayed in her modest car, saved more, and now works 4 days a week instead of 6. Guess who's actually wealthier? Remember, time is the ultimate currency. It's the one thing you can't earn back. And every financial decision should serve the purpose of giving you more control over your time. That is freedom. That is the goal. So before we go on, take 10 seconds right now and reflect. Are you building a life of freedom, or are you just buying stuff that's keeping you stuck? Don't skip this, because the next chapter is where we talk about managing your expectations, keeping your ego in check, and staying grounded, even when things are going well. This is where a lot of smart people fall apart. And it's one of the most powerful lessons in the psychology of money. Here's one of the most sobering truths from Morgan Housel, and it's one we all need to hear. You will never feel like you've made it. Sounds harsh, right? But it's real. And it's freeing once you truly understand it. Let me explain. You could have 5 lakhs in your bank today and wish you had 10. Then you get 10 and you start wanting 25. Then 50. Then a crore. Then a beach house. Then a private jet. More always feels just out of reach. There's always someone doing better than you. Always someone younger, richer, smarter, more famous. And if your definition of success is built around comparison, then congratulations. You've signed up for a race with no finish line. Take any celebrity. Let's say someone like Kanye West. Billionaire, global brand, creative icon. And yet still chasing more deals, more influence, more headlines. Now contrast that with someone like Keanu Reeves. Quiet, grounded, doesn't flaunt his wealth, lives modestly, gives generously, rides the subway. Guess who sleeps better at night? Housel puts it beautifully. The ceiling of social comparison is so high that virtually no one will ever hit it, which means the only way to feel wealthy is to stop playing that game. Focus inward. Define your version of success. Decide what's enough for you. Let's go back to our friend Rohit Sharma again, not the cricketer. He used to scroll through social media every night, seeing friends in Bali, Dubai, Paris, and feel like he was failing. But then he made a shift. He asked himself, what actually matters to me? His answer? A peaceful home, a stable income, time with family, the freedom to go for a walk at 5 p.m. And guess what? He already had it. The problem wasn't his bank account. The problem was his benchmark. If your goalpost keeps moving, you'll always feel behind. But if you define your finish line clearly intentionally, that's where peace begins. So here's your moment of reflection. What's your definition of enough? Not what society says, not what your friends have, not what the internet tells you to want. What's truly enough for you? Because once you know that, you'll stop chasing and you'll start living. Don't miss the next chapter, because it ties directly into this. We'll talk about ego and how it silently robs you of your freedom, your clarity, and your wealth. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching a summary anymore. You're doing the inner work. All right, let's pause, take a deep breath, and look back at what we've just covered. Because this right here is your moment to lock in the lessons that could reshape the way you think about money for the rest of your life. Here are the 10 most powerful takeaways from The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. 1. Everyone views money through their own lens. Your childhood, your culture, your past experiences, they all shape how you feel about money. So before you judge someone else's financial decisions, pause. Be kind. Their story is different from yours. 2. Luck and risk are real. Success isn't always earned. Failure isn't always deserved. Stay humble. Don't worship the rich. Don't shame the struggling. Everyone's playing a different hand. 3. Know when enough is enough. Greed is a bottomless pit. Ambition without boundaries leads to burnout or worse. Define your enough and protect it like your peace depends on it, because it does. 4. Don't confuse looking rich with being wealthy. The car, the clothes, the big house, they might be signs of debt, not wealth. Real wealth is quiet. It's savings, investments, and freedom you don't see on Instagram. 5. Saving is the foundation of freedom. You don't need a high income. You need a high savings rate. Discipline beats income. And every rupee saved is a vote for your future independence. 6. Be reasonable, not perfect. You're not a spreadsheet. You're a human being. It's okay to make choices that feel emotionally safe, even if they're not mathematically optimal. 7. Compound everything, not just money. Kindness, effort, knowledge, discipline. They all grow with time if you stay consistent. 8. Daily events create most of the magic. One investment, one job, one idea can change everything. Your job is to survive long enough to let that magic happen. So don't quit the game early. 9. Freedom, not luxury, is the goal. Forget yachts and Rolexes. True wealth is the ability to wake up and say, I choose how I spend my day. 10. If you keep chasing more, you'll never feel enough. There's always someone richer, smarter, more successful. Stop comparing. Start defining success on your own terms. That's how peace begins. So take a moment now. Which of these lessons hit you the hardest? Which one made you pause and go, wait, I needed to hear that today? Let us know in the comments. We read every one of them. And if even one idea in this video made you think differently about your life or your money, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more soulful, practical book breakdowns like this. And most importantly, grab your own copy of The Psychology of Money using the link in the description. Because hearing it once is powerful, but reading it yourself slowly, deeply can be life-changing. If even one chapter, one idea, one sentence from this video made you stop, think, reflect, let it stay with you. Don't rush past it, because those are the moments that change everything. Hit that like button if you felt any kind of shift. Subscribe to this channel for more real, raw, powerful book breakdowns. Not the ones that just list facts, but the ones that help you feel the lesson. And listen, if you haven't already, grab your own copy of The Psychology of Money using the link in the description. Not just to read it once, but to revisit it again and again as your life evolves, as your money story grows, and as your mindset deepens. Because this isn't just a book, it's a mirror. It helps you understand yourself, your fears, your desires, your beliefs through the lens of money. And hey, if you've made it this far, you've made it. That says something about you. It means you're not just watching a video. You're investing in yourself. You're not looking for shortcuts. You're looking for truth. And if that's you, don't stop here. Check out our next video, whether it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Think and Grow Rich. Because mindset is step 1, money skills are step 2, and you are the one in charge. No one's coming to rescue your future, but you're already doing the work. Until next time, remember this. Money is not about math. It's about behavior. It's about your emotions, your discipline, your stories, your habits. And when you master that, when you master yourself, everything changes. See you in the next one.